All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to talk about an idea that might just be more important than talent when it comes to achieving anything meaningful in the long run. It's a little something called grit. It's all about passion and it's all about perseverance. Imagine hearing this growing up from your own dad. Well, that's exactly what author and psychologist Angela Duckworth heard. Now, he wasn't trying to be cruel, it was just his honest, matter-of-fact observation. But it sparked a question that would define her life's work. If she wasn't a genius, then what was the secret to success? And that really is the big question, isn't it? As a culture, we're obsessed with talent. We love the idea of the natural, the person who's just born with it. But is that the whole story? Does that truly separate the people who succeed from everyone else? Or have we been focusing on the wrong thing this whole time? So Duckworth went looking for answers. And this journey, from a personal hunch to a full-blown scientific discovery, well, it started in one of the toughest, most demanding places you can imagine. Yep, West Point. We are talking about the ultimate pressure cooker. Getting in is next to impossible. You need incredible grades, off-the-charts test scores, and you even need a nomination from a member of Congress. The process is designed to find only the absolute best of the best. But get this, even after all that screening, 1 out of every 5 of these elite cadets drops out. A lot of them don't even make it past their first summer, a brutal 7-week orientation they call Beast Barracks. So the big mystery was, why? What was going on here? You'd think the Army would have it figured out. They had this comprehensive score for every cadet, the whole candidate score, that measured talent, physical aptitude, leadership, everything. And you know what? It had literally zero ability to predict who would stick it out. But a simple little questionnaire Duckworth put together, the grit scale, it was astoundingly good at predicting who would make it through Beast. This whole discovery led Duckworth to a really elegant 2-part theory. First things first, talent absolutely matters. Let's be clear about that. But she defines talent as how quickly you get better at something when you put in the effort. It's your rate of improvement. But here's the kicker. Just having a skill isn't the end goal. To turn that skill into a real-world achievement, to actually do something with it, you have to apply effort a second time. So effort builds skill, and then effort makes that skill useful. That's why she says effort counts twice. Okay, so if grit is so incredibly important, it brings up a huge question. Are you just born with it? Or can you get more of it? Well, the research is pretty clear on this. The good news is you can absolutely grow your own grit, and there's a blueprint for it. Duckworth's work found that gritty people tend to share 4 key traits. Think of them as psychological assets, and they tend to grow in this order. First, you find an interest. Then comes practice, followed by purpose, and it's all held together by hope. Let's break each of these down. First up is interest. We have this idea that passion just strikes you like lightning, but for most people, that's not how it works at all. It usually starts with a small spark of curiosity. It's something you have to actively explore and develop and deepen over a long, long time. Next comes practice. But listen, we are not just talking about clocking in the hours. Gritty people do a special kind of practice called deliberate practice. This is all about pushing yourself just beyond your current skill level, focusing like a laser on your weaknesses, and trying to get just a little bit better every single day. The third ingredient is purpose, and this one is a real game changer. It's the belief that what you're doing matters to other people. Purpose is what takes the daily grind and turns it into a calling. It gives you a reason to keep going that's bigger than just yourself. And finally, there's hope. Now, this isn't just wishful thinking. It's a certain kind of hope that comes from what we call a growth mindset. It's the core belief that you can improve. So for a gritty person, a setback isn't a final verdict. It's not proof that you don't have what it takes. It's just feedback. It's a cue to learn and try again. So we've talked about how grit grows from the inside out, but it doesn't happen in a bubble. The people, the culture, the environment around you, it all plays a huge role. It can either help you grow that grit or totally crush it. When it comes to things like parenting, the research points to a style that Duckworth calls wise parenting. It's this perfect blend of being both supportive and demanding. You set really high standards, but you do it from a place of warmth, love, and genuine respect. And check this out. This is a fantastic insight. One of the best ways to practice grit is through extracurriculars. The research shows it's not what activity a kid does that matters, it's whether they stick with it for more than 1 year. That follow-through is a powerful predictor of success later on.
It's basically grit training in the real world.
And the impact of this? Well, it's staggering. Just look at these numbers. A study tracked high schoolers, and the ones with the most follow-through were over 4 times more likely to still be in college 2 years later compared to those with the least. That is the power of practicing grit. Okay, so let's tie this all together. What is the one thing you should take away from all this science about grit? It really just comes down to the incredible, underrated power of effort. And this brings us right back to where we started. This is the sentence Angela Duckworth wishes she could have said to her father. That yeah, maybe she wasn't a genius, but she was determined to be the grittiest person she could be. And that, in the long run, just might be more important. Because here's the bottom line. Effort is the magic ingredient. Without it, your talent is just potential that never gets used. And without effort, your skill is just a list of things you could have done, but never did. It's the active, consistent application of effort that makes all the difference. So here's the whole formula laid bare. You start with whatever natural talent you have. You apply effort, and that multiplies into skill. But you're not done yet. You have to apply more effort, and that's what multiplies your skill into real, tangible achievement. And that leads to this incredibly empowering thought. Greatness isn't some kind of destiny. It's not reserved for a chosen few. It's really just the sum of 1,000 small, ordinary, sometimes even boring daily decisions to just keep going. So we'll end on this. The science is pretty clear. Potential is one thing, but what we do with it is something else entirely. Your talent, that's just the starting line. Your grit determines the finish line. So the only question left for you is, how far are you going to go?